Not to put us on the serious train here, but I do want to point out something. When it comes to this time of year with the heat and humidity, we make light of it. You know, we say if it's not the heat, it's the humidity, etc. We have to find something to joke about. But Tanya and I were talking about this earlier this morning. When it comes to heat-related deaths in the Midwest, and for the most part, most of the United States, it is not tornadoes, it is not bitter cold, it is not hurricanes on the southeast coast. No, it is heat. Heat-related deaths are the number one weather-related deaths throughout the United States. And so now that we've got through the middle of June here, we need to lock in and be prepared for this and start talking about some safety measures until they kind of get stuck in the back of our heads. And we treat it once again like it's second nature, which we do each and every year. 90 degrees over 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Look at the heat index already pushing up to 98, and the wind gusting right now at 30 miles per hour. We've got a slew of low 90s all the way up to the mid 90s. Let's roll 90 in Monette and Cassville. Compare that to 93 and 94 in Neodesha and Chanute, respectively. Miami and Grove still waiting to get there, just a touch behind. But now remember, we factor in the humidity, and then also, too, we put our wind in play. That wind has really picked up here, and it will do so for the rest of the afternoon, coming in out of the south-southwest, 15 to 20 miles per hour. And you'll notice, too, everything that came off of the Gulf. Tanya made a very good point. It was really Saturday night when you began to notice it. And even though the majority of the precipitable water has now stayed east of the Mississippi, you can tell we are holding on to that dividing line that just falls on the other side of Wichita and Oklahoma City, but does not help us when it comes down to how hot it feels. So there you go. Throw it up. Whole bunch of triple digits already sitting for our heat index readings here at the noon hour. Skywatch Storm Tracker has remained clear. Midwest is going to be delightful if you have to do any traveling here for the next several days. Really, all the systems are going to stay off to the east. That being said, we do show up in our watches, warnings, and advisory map. The heat advisory indicated in orange, lasting until 8. Heat advisory, heat index readings from about, say about 100, which we're already past, to about 109. Get down there in northeast Oklahoma. That's an excessive heat warning. Well, that's where you're going to roll heat index readings from about 112 to 115. And just to give you an idea, it cuts off here about down by I-40. But they've got, and it does depend on where you are geographically exactly what that temperature is. But look at that. Then they range really from Mississippi up through Arkansas and all the way north to St. Louis. Now, this time of year, we talk about, well, thunderstorm activity. Is it a possibility? We've got a whole lot of energy up there right now that's available for thunderstorms to pop. That's the old kinetic available energy. But we always talk about this. Remember, it's like shaking a Coke bottle, right? Well, as long as we keep the cap on there, the cap indicated in the blue, that will overcome that potential energy and keep it at bay. At the same point in time, that also does a wonderful job trapping in our humidity. But if you look up here, see where there's a lack of cap up there by the Great Lakes ranging down to the Ohio River Valley? Well, no surprise on the severe thunderstorm risk map. That's exactly where we find our elevated and low threats for Monday into Tuesday. Our biggest threat is finding a way to stay safe and stay cool. Remember, hydrate, sunscreen, and also, too, think about light clothing. That can make a big difference when it gets this humid, because we're going to go ahead and run that oppressive, if not right to the oppressive line, all the way into the weekend. An indicator, Tanya, that really we're going to anticipate the next 2 to 3 weeks being not only dry, but also extremely above normal temperature-wise. A 2 to 3 week run in us, it looks like we're going for.
We'll be used to it by the end of the week, I think.
Right, and that's
ready for a little bit.
That's
of a
why I
break.
want to start banging the drum now about safety measures, so everybody, it's time to get out of, hey, we don't need the umbrella. Now we need water bottles and sunscreen.
And check on your neighbors.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael.